Hey guys, welcome back. I really want to apologize for not getting a review out the last time that I said I would. I have been moving. I've had a whole bunch of issues with just sleeping, depression, all these things, and it's just been absolutely crazy trying to get myself motivated to start to do this again. And I finally decided, you know what, I'm going to turn on this camera today. I'm going to do a review about a movie that's important, and then I will drink, and then I will do a movie like Taken 3, and then we'll have a better time with that. But you know what, guys? This is with the K review. I'm Victor, and this movie stars David Oyelowo and Carmen Ichigoji and Tom Wilkinson. And let the mispronunciations begin. Ole!
With a K review! It's VIC?
No, it's with a K.
Oh.
Now, when I first started seeing previews for Selma, I really didn't know what to expect about it because there's been a lot of movies in the past that have been like, you know, those biography type. There was the movie with about Steve Jobs called Jobs, and it had and then I started to notice that a lot of these biographical movies that are coming out are not really like based on the person's, you know, beginning, middle, and the end of their life, and it's more so just telling about a major event in their life. And really that's what Selma is about. It starts out with talking about Dr. Martin Luther King, and he has a speech in the beginning, and I really thought, okay, this movie is going to follow up until the point of Selma, and then it's going to keep going and tell a little bit more about his life. And that's not really the case. This movie actually completely focuses on the town of Selma, where Martin Luther King comes and he starts to organize people in nonviolent protests in order to push forward black people being able to vote. And I thought, are they going to be able to actually keep the interest throughout like a 2-hour movie on this one single event in history? And surprisingly, yes. But what really surprised me about this movie was that this is a movie that is not very dependent on a lot of characters throughout the movie. I mean, you have, you know, David Oyelowo. He is like, you know, plays Martin Luther King, and you really do focus more on him than anybody else. There's a lot of other people in this movie. Tom Wilkinson, who's Lyndon B. Johnson, he does a really good job. Every time Tom Wilkinson does a job or any type of movie, he does an incredible job of bringing out that character. And then you have other characters, like Martin Luther King's wife, who's played by Carmen Ichigoji. This is going to get worse. I really did enjoy her in the movie, and then I was like, who is she? I thought I had seen her in something before, and it turns out she was actually in The Purge 2 Anarchy. And I don't, honestly, if you can go from The Purge 2 Anarchy to being in this type of movie, yeah, good, awesome. You going up in the world there, yes. And really, when you look at this movie, you don't have a whole lot of characters in this movie, and yet you do have a whole lot of characters in the movie. All right, let me explain this. The movie actually does focus a lot on the city of Selma and what happened there and the riots and so forth and the police brutality and everything like that. And the movie also really just focuses on Martin Luther King. You have all the surrounding characters, you know, like his wife and his friends and everybody else. And even, you know, like you have the really bad mayor who's like horribly racist, who is played by Tim Roth. I really want to compare this movie to like Lord of the Rings and Unbroken, and I understand. Yeah, I actually have a point to this. I haven't been drinking, that's later. But when you watch movies like that, like you have a big ensemble cast of characters, and there's really nobody that actually just like stands out to like be the main focus, but everybody is the main focus. That's really what this movie is. When I got done watching this movie, I was like, I've learned not only about Martin Luther King, but I've also learned a little bit more about everybody around him. And I also found out there was a lot of like really intense things that happened back in the past that I didn't know about. I had no idea Selma happened. I was never taught that in school. I never saw it. So I was like, I learned something in a movie. And when you can go to a movie like this and you can see and you can understand how like people were treated back then, I think that really makes the movie awesome. This movie was actually directed by a female black director, and it's amazing that she did such a great job because she does not done really much of anything, you know, in the past. She did a couple of independent movies, and her link is going to be down in the description below. Please take a look at it because I think it's actually important for people to know that this movie was actually not directed by a guy. It was directed by an African-American woman, and it was done very well. It was done very respectfully. And the one thing that I want you to take away from this review is that There was one part in this movie that between Coretta Scott King and Martin Luther King, and they were talking in a room, and he and her are having kind of a little bit of an argument and discussion, and there's one thing that she asks him, and then she asks him something else, and that is what is important, because that something else that she asks him was done very respectfully by the director and the writers. And I thought that by that one scene, that is what definitely made this movie over 9,000 for me. And I'm not going to go through the transformation for this one because I actually respect this director and I respect a lot of the people that were in this movie. So what I can tell you right now is that you guys need to go see this movie in theaters, pay any price for it, and make sure when it comes out on Blu-ray, DVD, video on demand, or whatever, please rent this movie, not just because it's a movie that was done well about racism, but it was a movie that was done with care and love and so forth. So skip going to see Taken 3. If you wanted to go see that this coming weekend or whatever, wait. Go see this movie because it's important. And as always, guys, thanks for watching my show and my reviews. I really do apologize again for not getting out a review to you guys for the last, 2-3 months here. But I really do appreciate it. If you want to subscribe, make sure to give me a little whack right here. Leave me a whacked out comment below. Let me know what is one of your favorite biographical movies on a historic character and why did you like it and what types of things that were done in it that made you really like it. And of course, never forget, if you don't like what you're watching, you can always turn it off. And there's my remote. And there we go. 3, 2, 1. Thanks, guys.